recording.
Okay.
We now have a quorum. And I wanted to, well, let's first get those minutes out of the way. Can we approve the minutes from last time?
So moved.
Second.
Everybody cool with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
So today I attended a webinar on beaver management by Mike Callahan.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was very interesting. He's a good speaker. And I don't know if you know that he not only has his business where I guess he's Beaver Solutions, and most of the solutions that he has are non-lethal ones. But he has also started a Beaver Institute to sort of study beaver behavior and beaver management and stuff. He's very much pro beavers. But also he made the specific point in his talk that not every beaver conflict can be resolved non-lethally. He said it's about 3/4 of the time it can, although he said when it's a culvert, it's more like 95 or 96% of the time.
That it can or cannot?
That it can.
Can. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. However, what he showed examples of the different kinds of flow devices that can be used. And I noticed that one of the ones that can be used with culverts requires a depth of 3 feet of water. I don't think we have that above the culvert from Fisk Brook. That's really shallow there.
A good part of the season we don't, I wouldn't think.
Pardon me?
I would think a good part of the season we do not. I would agree with you. Do not have 3 feet of water there.
Yeah, and that was kind of the requirement. Although there was another thing that involved sort of fencing off the whole culvert area, but that would mean that it wouldn't be passable for boats. So I don't know. Anyway, I fortunately, the last minute or yesterday, Miriam let me know that this thing was going on today, so I was able to go to it. So now I feel like when people come and give us a lecture at board meetings, I'll feel a little bit more confident dealing with them.
Good.
Oh, good. Thank you for doing that, Kat.
Yes, thank you.
It was really good. I think I'm going to get the slides from it, and I don't know, maybe a recording of it. So if I do, I will make that available to you.
Please, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guy's a good speaker. Speaking of recordings, the meeting recordings, apparently we've maxed out our storage on Zoom for the meeting recording. So henceforth, the meeting recordings are going to be available on YouTube. Grace has set this up, so they'll be available there, but I think people will still just have to ask Grace for a link to the appropriate.
Okay.
I'll let you know if I find out anything more about that. Claudia is now employed by Irving as our health agent, our shared health agent.
Good.
And apparently the way this is going to work, we'll have this arrangement with Irving. We've done a memorandum of agreement, and then the district as a district will be at some point dissolved, and we'll have this other thing instead.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, it turns out that what we have is not, in fact, a district. A district is some other kind of specific entity. What we have is just a shared health agent agreement. So it's not, for some reason, it's called a district, but it isn't. It isn't technically a district. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that means.
Well, I
Um,
guess that answers
yeah.
some of our questions with Jen when she comes next time too, perhaps, if we're not really a district.
Right, we're not really a district, but we do have shared health agent services.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're committed to that.
Right.
So I don't know. Noreen, your face disappeared. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know. I'm coming back. I was doing
Okay.
something. I'm sorry. I was listening.
Oh, no, that's fine. I just didn't know if you knew.
Yes.
Okay. What else did I want to talk about? There's obviously Arlene won't be coming, and I'm not, and probably Noreen won't be coming either, to special town meeting tomorrow night. And one of the things on the warrant is appropriating money to do whatever it is the DEP is requiring us to do about PFAS, whatever kind of
Right.
remediation or cleanup or whatever we have to do. And that's on the agenda. The weather for tomorrow looks absolutely horrible. I'm not sure I'm going to
Yeah.
make it on meeting. It's all
So remind me what the warrant is asking the town voters to approve. I have read those articles, but I don't recall how it was worded. I'm sorry
well,
to say.
let me see if I can find it.
I could find it too. If I go back to,
She said the same thing, like people come to her work.
A new thing here, but I don't know if it gives the warrant.
I am, yep, I am going to the warrant right now, I think.
Oh, okay.
Warrant, click here to view in full. Okay, and as far as PFAS, it says, hold it, scrolling. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Article 4, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash almost $137,000 for funding Teague and Bond's proposal to address PFAS contamination in Shutesbury with the source point of the fire station through 6/30/23, or take any other action relative thereto.
Okay.
And those costs, the almost 137,000 comprises 42,000 for Teague and Bond, almost 95,000 for direct costs, lab, and point of entry treatment system. But that doesn't add up to. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, never mind. It does add up to the total. All right, so it's a matter of the Teague and Bond fees and the direct costs for treatment systems. And only with respect to the PFAS contamination that has the fire station as the source point.
Right. And that's the one that DEP has found the town responsible, and basically we don't have any choice here. We have to do that.
Sure.
There were some letters and stuff around there, but I don't have them in front of me.
So that's the only part of the town meeting that relates to Board of Health at all. Is that right?
Right. The other stuff is mainly conservation and planning, I think.
That's the other half of the house.
The only other thing that I had on my agenda to talk about is there's some stuff coming up about the opioid settlement funds. And that is going to be talked about at the Public Health Roundtable on Monday. And I wondered if you were going to be going to that, Noreen.
Yes, I am. And I don't know anything more about it other than what Phoebe sent us in that email. But I did do some quick math. If we get $75,000 a year and it's good for 15 years, that would be about $5,000 a year for us. So it
Mhm.
seems to me, I mean, I'll certainly learn more on Monday, but it seems to me that we might want to get together with the towns perhaps in the uh, Valley Health Coalition and, you know, use some of our funds together. And that way we might be able to hire somebody or hire some consulting services or something to make the money, you know, go further and
Mhm.
provide more services for more towns.
I was thinking along the same lines, Noreen, because
Okay.
we don't want to organize and manage and run any kind of addiction services, right? I mean,
Correct, right,
that should be at a higher level than we are.
definitely.
So you'll find out about that on Monday.
I will, yeah, I will. And
Mhm.
I'll make a small report if you want at the next meeting, if we have time, because I know we might spend quite a bit of time, as you and I discussed, talking with Jen and
Athena.
Athena
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Arlene, Noreen showed me some of the emails between her and Jen wrote something like, I'm assuming that you are going to withdraw from your district,
So we're out there.
which is not at all what we have in mind. So,
Right.
so
Oh,
if we have to choose, as far as I'm concerned, we're committed to the district. And in fact, we can't withdraw from that agreement without a year's notice.
I see. Wow.
Right. I don't think I think we were just batting some ideas around, and that's just an example, you know, something. I don't know where it came from, actually. I think she thought that we were going to withdraw from the district, but I looked at
Evidently.
everything I had ever sent to her and I never indicated anything of that sort. So,
Yeah.
and there's sort of some other things that I'm going to be calling to touch base with you about, Arlene, too, with regard to public health nursing services. I
Mhm.
want to give you some background on that before we go into the meeting as well. So I'll give you a
Please do.
call when you get back. Yeah.
All right, sure. I'm home by Friday, late afternoon, evening. And
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere for a while. after
Friday.
that. So, yeah.
Okay, I'll make some, so Friday, your return. Okay, great.
Way, and then if you're gonna clean them, that's fine, but I'll put the food away first.
Just for your information, I got back in touch with Sam Gladstone and urged him to get
Yeah.
going with the survey. And he said, well, I haven't gotten all the permissions yet. So I suggested that he ask again, because they're not going to like go back through their mail and answer it now. So I don't know. They don't seem very eager to move forward on this.
Mm.
But there you are.
And I think the thing that came up at the last meeting we had when it was on the agenda was that there have been some burials also since we started these discussions.
But that they
Is
have
that-
been conventional burials as opposed to greens? Or
We
do
don't
not
know. We don't know.
So I thought we had talked about, and they had agreed to a voluntary moratorium, but I may be wrong. That's sort of my,
Yeah, and I remember him saying, we don't do anything other. The only burials we do
Yes.
are green burials. And
Yeah.
that would,
me too.
I mean, I don't profess to be an expert on Jewish traditions or what is prescribed or, you know, but I thought that cremation and green burials, my impression was that cremation or green burials were the only two options, that embalming and, you know, the sort of conventional, modern day conventional burials were not acceptable within Jewish tradition, but I'm not certain about that.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, it's a traditional cemetery, so there's no embalming allowed.
Right.
And I don't think there are any cremations. And
Okay.
and I'm told that they actually drill the bottom of the coffins so that liquids leak out. So even if they go conventional, which they have up to now in the lawn section of it, it was already meeting the standards of green burial. So this is hardly a change, apparently.
Yeah.
I heard that there was some kind of, well, we talked about this last time. I just kind of heard through the grapevine that there was some kind of holdup, but then the neighbors were saying that there have been burials. So I don't know. I don't think that we forbade them.
No, I don't think we did, Kat, but I thought I recalled Sam talking about a voluntary moratorium. But I could be wrong. It was quite a while ago that we discussed it.
I don't remember that. And I
Yeah,
mean,
okay.
if people
Okay.
die, they're going to have to be buried.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I suppose that the only difference between the burials that they've been doing, that they had previously done in the lawn section, and the burials they're doing in the green section would be the coffins,
Mhm.
right? Instead of using a biodegradable simple one, they might have more solid ones that are theoretically impermeable, but of course they never are. And of course, if they then turn around and drill holes in them.
Right.
Right.
I have not made any progress on the reg. I've been devoting my Board of Health time to turning
Beavers.
beavers, and also turning the database over
Oh, right.
from that old BOH 2000 to a regular access database. I had the idea that I'd maxed it out, but I think maybe I didn't. But this is better anyway because it's something that can run on a modern computer, because that old thing runs on an ancient notebook that runs Windows XP.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And of course, the thing was named BOH 2000, so you can imagine how up to
Yeah.
date it was.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was the thing once upon a
It
time.
was the thing when it first came out, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
We were
And
so cool.
It stood us in good stead, though.
Yeah.
It got us this far, and now we can,
Retire it.
and just move forward with a regular access database.
Yeah.
So that's about it. I don't have anything else to report, I don't think. Anybody else? Oh, whoops, we have Chris Elliott waiting in the room.
It was icy, snowy, and she had skidded out, and so the car was funny, it was just stuck, and so we ended up pushing her out. And she was so appreciative.
Well, then there it is. I don't have anything else to report. Does anyone else? Arlene, you had a patient in town that you were sort of being a public health nurse for. Is that all over? Is that person finished with their treatment?
That person has returned to Texas.
Oh,
And whether it's for an undetermined period of time.
mhm.
They may be back to Shutesbury in a month or so, maybe not.
I see.
But for the time being, the daily observation of treatment has reverted to Texas. And they are now doing a daily video that they submit. There's a whole app that's been much more convenient for them. They take a video of themselves and then just send it to the person, so they don't have to have a coordinated time. It's not a live visit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wish we had that, but anyway, we made out just fine with every single morning, spending a little time on a video, watching pills being swallowed.
Fun. Isn't
Yeah.
that person ever going to be done with this? My gosh. it's
Yes,
gone on for a long
evidently.
time.
Well, they began their treatment in April of last year. And so this end of this month marks 9 months. So even for pretty complicated cases, 9 months tends to be that's a longish treatment period for TB. Occasionally people go to 12 months, but I don't imagine that this person will go to 12 months. And
But
so
in
I
any case,
think-
it's not
I
your.
think I'm done. Yeah, we'll find out, they return to Shutesbury. And because of family things mean this little bit of back and forth residence thing. If they return to Shutesbury and it comes back in my lap, no big deal. Person was great to work with. So,
Yeah, we make her.
but I think that's done.
Great. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Not from me.
No,
Let's
I don't
see.
have anything else.
Chris has his hand up. Scott.
Okay, Chris, would you unmute yourself? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just jumped in. So I missed what you guys had talked about, but I'm coming to see what's the latest on the green burial.
We don't have anything to report. We're still waiting for the survey.
Okay, well, could you refresh my memory? What survey is being done?
We asked the Jewish community of Amherst to do a survey showing the location of all wells.
That survey.
That
Well,
survey.
is there, how about soil analysis? Is that in the works?
We have the original soil analyses from back in the 70s. Many of them, there were like 8 or 9
Right.
deep hole observations. And so that's what we have for now.
Right, because we're here for the meeting where Garrett was going over what data was in those soil analysis that would be relevant to the potential best practices and what wouldn't, right? Like, so there was some info, but it didn't have everything that might be relevant to the DEP recommendations. Is that correct?
I'm not so sure about that. We'll have to, after we've seen the survey, then we'll be looking more closely at the soil analyses. In my opinion, my impression is, I should say, that those soil analyses are adequate.
The 70 soil analysis are adequate for confirming whether or not green burial
Yes.
was safe for, according to, okay. But the regs are still in process, right? Like, you haven't decided.
We haven't written a regulation, no.
Right. Yeah, our ongoing concern ultimately is, are the Board of Health regulations going to conform to the DEP recommendations? And if not, what will the variances be, and what would they be based on? I guess still just a little bit up in the air. Not totally transparent to us where we're at.
We have not really made any progress at the moment, Chris.
Okay.
We've got other things that are absorbing us, and we just haven't been able to make progress.
At what point, in terms of the timeline, would you folks consider placing a moratorium on new burials while all these details get sorted out? Just anticipating months become months and more burials take place, and some of them are, maybe there's another one going to be 100 feet from a well, 150 feet. At what point would we say, okay, maybe we should just take a time out, put no more burials until we have regulation? Because what seems to have been happening is regulation, as we work out the regulations, burials have continued to happen, even though we don't know what the regs are going to be.
I don't anticipate imposing any kind of moratorium, given the given the frequency of burials and the fact that the cemetery is already permitted and operational since 1979. I don't know that we would have the authority to do that.
So that would suggest that you see yourself as not having the authority to stop the green burials. If they decide that, yeah, we're going to put 50 plus burials or even just 50, and we're going to continue putting them on in within 300 feet of our well and other neighboring wells. I mean, ultimately is putting an end to green burial, telling the JCA, I'm afraid it's not an appropriate space. You're going to have to find another location. Is that on the table? Or do you anticipate, well, whatever happens, we'll have to grant a variance?
I don't really think that I could answer those questions at this point, Chris.
It's just still too early in the process. All right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you for coming in. Are we ready to adjourn? Board of Health?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, let's do it. I don't think we have to vote on it. Let's just do it.
okay,
Okay, thank you
thank you.
and
Thank
good
you.
night.
Good
All right,
night.
thanks.